Welcome to the Scientist with Heart podcast, my open diary of academic life. This is a space where I share my personal thoughts and reflections on research, teaching, and university life. These are my own opinions, and the aim is to spark discussion, exchange perspectives, and gather insights from others navigating the academic roller coaster at the bench and in the lecture hall. I am preparing for attending my last academic conference. So this is the perfect time to share how I did and do prepare for an academic conference. Academic conferences are networking opportunities and are therefore exchanging latest results, but also exposing one to new and exciting research and trends, and just exchange information. The people that meet at a conference, they could potentially become collaboration partners, but then they also could become future employers. So it's also a little bit a job fair. In general, an academic conference is organized under an umbrella theme that can be quite broad, but it can also be quite niche down. And then it's often a multi-day event. The conference I will be attending will be 3 days. I luckily don't have to travel because it is on site, and otherwise the day is sectioned into different sessions that follow different topics, and then we have invited speakers, and then there are also the selected speakers from the participants' submitted abstracts. I do have a presentation. I was selected from my abstract to give a presentation, a short talk, 10-minute talk at this conference. So during this multi-day event, usually there are also social events planned for the networking and the interaction. And these are excursions, for example, or also nice conference dinners, sometimes dances, and so on. If you ask yourself, when is a conference good, then there is no simple answer to that. But the way to make every conference good for you, that's how I was handling it when I was a PhD student, is to prepare and to get the most out of it. So how to prepare for a conference? You get the conference booklet, and there is usually the speaker lists, and with this speaker list you can prepare exactly for the content that you will be exposed to. So dig into the literature, search the websites from those speakers, and get familiarized with what their research is all about. Then it's also about goal setting. So when you are a PhD student, what's your goal? Do you want to get feedback on your experiments and on your data? Are you presenting a poster? Do you want to network for getting an idea of where your next job might be, to already make others aware of you and your research and science? Is it about collaboration because you want to outsource a certain experiment, or you want to work together with a special group that has a certain skill or experimental workflow? You decide what your goal for this conference is. In the beginning of a PhD, for example, my goal was to get as much knowledge of the field as possible, so to broaden my horizon, to soak everything in like a sponge. And depending on what your goal is, you prepare. And then you make the conference a success for you because you reach your goal. And goals can be very different for different people. So all in all, academic conferences are always an investment, because you have to pay time and money for it, but you can absolutely get out the same value in what I just said: knowledge, collaboration, networking, future job possibilities. So really familiarize yourself with the speakers, also not only with their research, but look at their pictures. If you're not too long in the field, that's what I did. I checked out the pictures, I printed them all, and I familiarized myself with how these people look so that I would recognize them at the venue and not only when they are on stage and introduced by their name. When I was a young student, I also planned for conversation starters. I thought about questions I would want to ask the big shots to get into a discussion. When you have already an established network, of course, you pick up where you ended last. Also important, get to know other attendees. So if you are a younger PhD student, or if you're a poster presenter, you have automatically the poster presenters around you. Approach them actively, introduce yourself, and get to know who is there at the conference. At the same time, also be ready to present the poster in a very short 1-minute explanation pitch, but also have a bit longer form 5-minute poster run through present. And as networking is one of the main benefits at conferences, don't only talk, but also listen, and most importantly, ask questions. That can be prepared, by the way. It can be practiced and prepared to ask questions and ask for the gaps in the field, ask for future directions of the projects, not only what's on the posters or what has been said at the talks, but get out a little bit more information when you talk to the people. At conferences, when you give a talk, and I will give a 10-minute talk, we can always expect some feedback from the audience. And considering conferences are very tight in time, and usually there's not too much time to digest what was said in the presentation, and people are very much under pressure to ask a few questions, but then time is up. We should never be disappointed if the feedback and questions we get are not really what we expected. So it can be that out of politeness, people that know your work will ask a question just for the sake that it's not completely silent. And there was just simply not enough time to think this through and ask more deeper questions or give deeper feedback because, like I said, it needs a little bit more processing. Don't worry, people will come to you. It's the same for me when I was at conferences. Sometimes I got 2-3 questions, basically repeating the content or for clarification. And then the magic happens afterwards. When people had enough time to think about everything, they approach the speakers and conversation is starting around that. So it's the Q&A at a conference is just a starter. And the magic happens then in the coffee breaks and in the networking and social sessions. Now, most important for me at a conference is also not only the preparation, the speakers, the literature, their research, setting my goals, knowing my talk, being prepared, and so on and so forth. It's also having a follow-up. So that could be messaging people that you met new on LinkedIn and connecting to them. That could be sending out some emails and following up on an idea that was discussed that may lead into a collaboration and working together. That may be writing emails to some people that you had not the chance to talk to and just follow up saying that was a great talk. Unfortunately, I could not talk to you. We missed each other or you were always busy. I didn't want to disturb you. Looking forward to the next conference where we might discuss this and that. So keeping track of people and opportunities, that's what is also very pleasing and important following up a conference. So at this point for my conference, I'm very much focused on getting the best feedback I can because I want to publish this work if possible. So my goal is set. I want to talk to a handful of people that are relevant for my work, that know the study and the background and get their input on our story. So it's a really nice little small goal. And apart from that, it's just pure enjoyment. I want to enjoy this being on stage last time in an academic setting, talking to people, disclosing what I will do next, chatting about future of science, of academia, and just seeing how people react when they will get to know that I will no longer do science after this year. My preparation is pretty straightforward and simple, and I hope you have a great time at your next conference when you're really well prepared.